Thank you, Eget. Very powerful message to the media.
Make that shareable on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so today I'm going to be speaking about the pandemic as a cover for a coup, according to Catherine Austin Fitts. Catherine is the highly respected, highly regarded former United States Assistant Secretary of Housing, Urban Development for Housing, and investment banker. She explains what is happening economically as follows. The central bankers are trying to bring in a new system, and they have to bring in this new system without anybody quite realizing exactly what it is. The new system is the end of currencies such as the dollar, etc. They are not wanting to bring in a new currency. They are wanting to bring in a new transaction system that will be digital and essentially end all currencies as we know them. Because this involves all the money on the planet, it's big, it's complicated, and it's messy. So the challenge they have is how to market a system if people understood and nobody would want. The way they would do that is with a healthcare crisis. Why a healthcare crisis? Because generally, if a few people want to control the many, the question becomes, how can you herd all the sheep into the slaughterhouse without them realizing and resisting? So the perfect thing is invisible enemies. For example, we had the war on terrorism with invisible terrorists. And now an invisible virus is perfect because it's invisible. You can't prove that it doesn't exist. Invisible enemies are always the preferred method, particularly if you scare people. You can use fear, and if you can introduce significant fear, then people will need government to protect them from the invisible enemy. Then the second tactic, which is very effective, is divide and conquer. Now this tactic, the media plays a very important role. If you can turn men and women against each other, black and white people against each other, for example, one of the reasons you would pour a lot of immigrants into, say, Europe, is to turn the general population against the immigrants. Then you would need government to be in the middle. These are two tactics that institutes fear and gets people to go along with things. And of course, the invisible virus allows you to do enormous control mechanisms. To stop people from organizing, you can stop people from getting together and talking about what's going on, etc. And if you digitize it with contact tracing, then you can control who's talking to who. If they can get you to do all your work and education online, then they can literally listen to everything you are saying. So now they can constitute extraordinary amounts of surveillance, all in the theory that they are protecting us from an invisible virus. It is very clever, and as you can see, it's working with many people. Not everybody, but with many people. Now let that sink in. When Catherine is talking, what Catherine is talking about also correlates with the Great Reset, the New World, as we have heard Justin Trudeau refer to. This is why you will hear the governments around the globe using the words of a new normal, a new world, or economical reset. These are all terms that mean a one world government, in which entails the UN agenda that has been set in motion in 2021, with the end results being completed by 2030 with the slogan, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." Question everything. Research everything. The governments are banking on people to be lazy and to simply rely on the Canadian paid corrupt media that censors truth and controls the narrative that pushes the Great Reset UN agenda.
99% people.
But I will say this, humanity is waking up. There are a silent majority that are fed up, that are saying enough is enough. And let it be known, the governments are not trying to protect us. They are only protecting themselves and their global corporations. You must dig for the truth. Research. Research Klaus Schwab's. Remember this name, Klaus Schwab's. And you will discover the government's plan for us, for the world, hiding in plain sight. Thank you. Thank you for listening.